I believe creating a world where no one has to lose a loved one because of lack of access to timely care. So that's what has been the company's goal. And it's more than a company mission. It started as a personal mission. And I'm hoping to honor my parents' legacy and turn that loss into more meaningful and help a lasting change in healthcare.
Are you looking for free tools that accelerate your business? Try self-implementing Summit OS, the ultimate business operating system. Summit OS will help you empower your team, execute like hell, and dig a moat around your business. Go to steveprader.com/tools and download free, simple worksheets that help you grow your business. Alternatively, get matched with a Summit OS guide and take your business straight to the top of the mountain. Good day, dear listeners. Steve Prader here with the Management Blueprint podcast. And my guest again is Sathya Elumalai, who is the founder and CEO of Aidar Health, the creator of MouthLab, a non-invasive handheld home monitoring device that measures more than 10 vital medical parameters in 30 seconds. Welcome back to the show, Sathya.
Yeah, thanks, Steve, for having me. It's a pleasure to come back after a couple of years. Nice to be a part of it again and looking forward to chatting more.
Yeah, no, it's great to have you back. I think it was 3 years or something like that. Absolutely. And your business has evolved. And in fact, during the time you developed another framework that we're going to be talking about. But let me ask you first this. So what is your personal why? I don't think we touched upon this in the first episode 3 years ago. What is your personal why? And what are you doing in your business to manifest it?
Absolutely. I think my personal why has been very close to my home experience, right? So I needed some kind of a help to help my mom navigate the complex chronic conditions that she had. She was facing a lot of obstacles in terms of getting timely and accurate health insights. So I poured in everything that I had. I thought probably it'll be a 2 to 3 year journey, but it took us almost 9 years today. Through using technology, we were able to create a more holistic care for my mother and also help improve her quality of life. And more importantly, it helps us to and help me to personally extend her life and have her stay with us for longer. But today, sad to say that I lost both my parents this year within a span of 3 months to the same condition at the same circumstances, which deepened my why. And my mission now is not just to help people with chronic condition, but also starting with technology, how we can use technology to empower people and also the caregivers to stay one step ahead in terms of managing their chronic condition, enabling proactive care, and also helping them to better understand where they are in their care journey. And that's what really helped me to even start Aidar on the first place. And I believe creating a world where no one has to lose a loved one because of lack of access to timely care. So that's what has been the company's goal. And it's more than a company mission. It started as a personal mission. And I'm hoping to honor my parents' legacy and turn that loss into more meaningful and help a lasting change in healthcare.
Wow. Okay. That is very inspiring. And really, I mean, especially people who are in nursing homes, and you'll talk to this in a minute, but they really can become cut off from, I don't know, from their family and who's going to look after them and how are they going to be looked after and how can you empower the people in the nursing homes to help these people get the best care and elongate their lives. That is pretty cool. So let's talk about this, because I loved how you actually discovered a great way to find the market for your product, and we can actually talk about it as a framework because other people can also apply this methodology. So it's kind of a framework for business to find their niche. So can you share with you how that came about, how you stumble upon this, and then what are the elements of the framework?
No, I kind of consider this more like a precision pathway. It's more like a strategic approach designed to help businesses identify, engage, and refine their target market. it's about like starting it more broad and gradually narrowing it down. The framework actually enabled me to actually find a more receptive audience and use a more data-driven approach to develop a more targeted strategy. So I think the process really starts with casting a wide net, like allowing potential customers to self-identify themselves, and also use data and feedback to focus on well-defined niche. So ultimately, removing all the obstacles to adopt and scale. So some of the elements I look at, like maybe around 5 elements that I looked into, starting with like more like a shotgun approach, right? So the initial phase is more about gaining broader exposure, right? And exploring potential markets without preconceptions. Okay, this is how the market is, especially for a device like what we have built. It's phenomenal. It has a lot of different areas for growth, and it can be positioned in different settings.
So Sathya, sorry to interrupt, but how do you actually do that? So what are the mechanics for applying this shotgun approach? How do you get in front of people, and how do you even get to a position where they can self-identify?
Yeah. So basically attending, like, for example, large conferences and like talking to a wide range of people, the goal is to actually send the message across to a wider audience and see how they interact or get that value about a technology. And this has been very helpful for me personally. I spent like going to some big conferences like Health and the HEMS and other healthcare related conferences. Although there's a lot of noise there, but it feels like there are some set of population or like customer segments who really would be interested and show value. And that's what was a starting point for us. That's the first one. The second element is more about like self-identification by customers. So specifically for us, like last year, we had one of our long-term care facilities that we're working with today reached out to us, and they told us like, hey, we are doing a lot of work in terms of remote patient monitoring, and we're using a lot of data science techniques to help predict and prevent a hospitalization within a nursing home. But then, as the phrases say, like garbage in and garbage out, mostly they're getting data from non-validated medical devices, and sometimes data that are like coming from technologies that are not fully used or widely used. Even with a single nursing home, there's like tons of different data streams coming from different devices. So we actually received specific feedback from this customer where they felt like a device like this could be phenomenal because it can not only just provide like a wide range of data, but also coming from the same source. So that like it's much more reliable. That's the self-identification process. The third one is more like a rifle approach. It's like a narrow focused approach. After
So Sathya, so first you can cast this large net, and then you see who responds, and then you had these nursing homes who realize that this is exactly very helpful to them, because then they can do all the examinations very quickly by the nursing home staff. So they said, hey, we want to learn more, we want to do this. And then the rifle approach was drilling down in that niche. Was that, or was it something else?
Perfect. There's a great segue into the third one, where this is more about addressing what's their current challenges, right? Going into, there is an interest, there's a need for a data, but I think there's more than that. There's underlying problems within like long-term care or nursing facilities, right? So with targeted messaging and tailored interactions, we were able to engage in a more meaningful way within a well-defined market. We know this is a market instead of going in different direction. Then the shift was more towards smaller niche conferences, right? That align specifically with our target audience. So we started focusing on like nursing home related conferences. So for example, most of our customers are in Florida, and as you know, there's a lot more, a lot of people wanted to retire there, right? So we identified conferences that are very specific, going to like 20,000, 30,000 member conferences to now narrowing it down to 100, 200 people was very specific. So we were able to directly talk to the decision makers, and one conferences could lead to like at least like 30 or 40 customers in a way, versus like a larger conference, although it gave feedback, but the decision makers were not present in most of these conferences, or hard to find. That's where like we took the fourth step, or like more, it's like a data driven distribution, right? So as soon as we got this product market fit understanding, the next big question is like, okay, where's the data, right? I mean, there's a problem. Just understanding that there is a problem is not going to be helpful for us to, one, do any meaningful impact. And also, like, investors, if they really wanted to invest, they want more data. So that's why we started to do some pilots where we're giving out free devices and technology platform, and then use it as an additional thing, right? So we actually help provide it to our potential customers, where they were able to use the technology, the processes, and see how this end-to-end system works. And that data was very helpful for us, because sometimes some of the facilities were saying, hey, this is great. It reduced the time by like half in some of the cases. And in some cases, they talk about like errors, right? Most of the time, nurses, they don't have time to monitor and also take notes and input it into an electronic medical record, where a lot of things were actually managed better. So now there's no need for them to actually manually put anything from a paper to an electronic medical record. Our device sends the data directly to the EMRs. So that was very helpful.
So how did you do that? How do you actually get to from this point of finding a market, they self-identified, you kind of drilled down, you investigated what they really want and what the needs are, and you reach them and they said, hey, let's get some data of how you would use that or what you would get out of that. How would you actually get the data? What was the mechanism for you to connect the dots there?
I think the biggest thing was there's no specific change in the workflow of what nurses are doing today in terms of collecting data, right? So they use multiple devices to collect data. So what was our initial selling point is like, hey, you don't need all these different devices. Here's one device and it takes these 10 parameters, right? So first,
can you show the device? Do you have one handy that you
sure, absolutely. So this
show?
is our device. Yeah. So it's more like a breathalyzer. You actually place it in the mouth, breathe through normally for 30 seconds. At the end of 30 seconds, you perform lung function tests. So you take a deep inhale and forceful exhale. And the only thing that was it also helped us was like, we, instead of building hundreds of devices, we can just build a handful of devices for nursing homes and give each patient a unique mouthpiece. So as soon as they put it in, we actually know which patient is using the device. So it was far more easier from that perspective, instead of dealing with multiple devices.
That's awesome. So you're basically, your device is the data collection mechanism that you give out, and then you can identify the individual patients because they have the unique mouthpiece that goes to them. And then how do you use that data? So how is it going to help you? How is it helping you to expand your business by getting access to this kind of data?
No, I think the biggest challenge that nursing homes are facing today is like access to good quality data, right? So for us, our device is designed in such a way that it can collect all these data and push that data to the nursing home's EMR. But more importantly, the biggest value add that we are looking and we are presenting to our customers is like how this data can help predict or prevent an adverse event, right? Because even a single resident leaves a facility, like they are losing a lot of money, like close to like $8,000 to $10,000. So the approach was to like, okay, provide data and insights to see, okay, here is how the time it's taking to take all these vitals instead of multiple devices. Here is the time and then costly human error that could occur if they are using like manual method. Instead, the data is sent directly to our system. And more importantly, this data can be used to actually predict worsening of health. Like, so today the physicians can actually see what was the baseline of the patient and what happened with the changes in health over a period of time. And we, more importantly, work with a physician network who oversee the data 24/7. So they are actually getting alerts when a clinician set threshold is changed. So in that way, we've already like called the nursing homes a couple of times, and we were able to at least inform them about an upcoming hospitalization for this patient, right? So which is where like these calls helped the director of nursing in these facilities to actually take appropriate actions. And also the medical directors, right? They probably spend rounds a couple of times a week. So they're not really looking into each and every patient in a more granular way. But our platform can give them that level of access so they can look at the data anytime, anywhere. So they can provide more targeted intervention to patients.
So
So
it's almost like a security monitoring system where you
exactly.
have the cameras in the house, and then when you see that someone with a ski mask coming through the window, then you can call the owner and say, "Hey,
Yeah,
something wrong here. Make sure you pay attention."
exactly. It's more like an ADD system for health.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering how this approach can work for other entrepreneurs who maybe, and they're not in the healthcare, they are other industries. So I love this idea that, hey, we have an idea. We know that we can help people. In your case, it was healthcare.
Mhm.
Attend conferences, talk to a bunch of people. It's essentially you're testing the market as to whether your message resonates, and it helps you refine your message. And then you might find a particular niche that will be super interested to take this on because it's a really good fit for them. And then you work on drilling down and working more intensively with that niche. And then you find a mechanism to collect data. Maybe you give out a sample in return for the data. In your case, it was even better because you provided a great service. So both you and their customer was benefiting from them giving you the data. So it's an ideal situation. And then how do you use that data to refine your products and to make it better and more powerful?
Yeah. I can give you one of the examples, right? So we built this mouthpiece. It's more like one size fits all. We had just one mouthpiece version, but then I think working with these nursing facilities before we were distributing it to patients' home, they use it. Even if they had challenges, they often talk about those challenges, but it's not like really something that's like preventing them from the use. But within nursing home, we saw like different level of acuity with patients. So some people were not able to use these mouthpieces because it was like a little bit bigger for them. So we were able to get that data. We were able to see like, okay, what kind of patients can actually use it versus not use it. We don't want to eliminate anyone just because the mouthpiece is bigger. So we end up designing a new version of the mouthpiece, and we were able to see like a smaller version. Our initial data suggested that it could actually compromise the quality of the data, but
Mhm.
actually it did not. Like we were able to use it on a different users, tried it, tested, and they were able to clearly show that there's no compromise in data quality. So that's one example. But also in terms of when we went in, we thought like, okay, the process of collecting this data and process of like putting it in and then showing that value from the disease prediction or hospitalization prediction perspective. But I think all these nursing homes go through a lot of surveys, right? There's a lot of need for I would say infection control and how it is better managed. So we were able to show through this data, there's more proactive approach. People are coming in, the nurses or CNAs, they come in, they clean the device, then they provide it. So there is a process which even the surveyors actually look at it and feel like confident that it's far more comprehensive than just picking up some devices randomly and using it without a procedure policy in place. So that's why these kind of data like further helped us to solidify our I would say product market fit, and also deliver a clear value proposition for our customers.
That is awesome. That's a great process. So that allows you to kind of keep refining, eliminating bottlenecks so people cannot use the product well, and redesign it and keep iterating. That's awesome. So I'd like to switch gears here a little bit and ask you about another aspect of being an entrepreneur. So you kind of Aidar Health is a startup company, and you raised money in order to develop your product and then distribute and reach your market. How do you balance your energy between how much energy putting in raising funds and then developing a team and growing your market? How do you know where to put the emphasis and how to how best to manage your time?
No, I think it's a probably $1 billion question, I would say. I mean, it's a continuous and intentional process, right? So, and in each area is deeply interconnected. So I developed a mindset for treating them as part of the same mission rather than separate tasks. Let's take, for example, fundraising, right? It's about not just about securing the capital, it's about sharing the vision of Aidar Health and forming that strategic partnership that can help us accelerate our growth. When I'm with investors, I'm actually looking to attract those who believe in our mission and who can add value beyond just financial backing. This ensures that the funding process is directly fuel the team and our marketing efforts. And when it comes to building the teams, right, is where I focus a lot of attention at this time, because ultimately the team is the backbone of everything what we do, right? I mean, knowing and seeing what people are doing on a daily basis is what really pushes me and also everyone. So I look for really individuals who are not only skilled but also like, do they have a similar why, right? I mean, do they have any value? What would Aidar do to them personally or to their families? So that's another area I look into. So I keep the team motivated, align them towards their why, so that the product innovation and market development and overall company is in the same direction. It's about the race, right? And then we all have to be in sync, so that, like, even when we face challenges, the team shares a purpose, so that it keeps us going, having a clear mindset. And then lastly, from a market side, right, I'm sure it helps, like it kind of helps me to connect with our customers and partners, gain insights from them, because as I was talking about from the approach, right, a lot of things come out of customer conversation. So it's always like exciting to know that like somebody is actually thinking about your technology. So what it really helps me is to like adapt our technology quickly to a situation or a product or a customer need, so that we can build a more real world impact with our technology. So like to answer your question, it's like it needs a lot of energy and focus. So I keep a clear sense of purpose and prioritize activities that directly pushes our mission forward, allowing to have a more balanced approach overall.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is that really by focusing on your mission and proselytizing it to different groups, you're essentially, it's a multi-directional approach where you are learning from them, and then you're also sharing the vision, and then let them, empowering them to do their part in, for your customers to raise their hands, for your team, how they can manifest your vision, and then raising funds is basically the same thing. Yeah. So as an entrepreneur, what do you think is the most important question that an entrepreneur should be asking themselves?
So the biggest question that I think is like, am I solving the problem that truly matters, right? So it's very easy to caught up in like great, exciting ideas. And today there's like tons of new technologies, gadgets that are coming up in the market. But at the end of the day, like, what's the impact that you're making in this world, right? So I just look into the, like, how meaningful the problem is. So asking that question really helps you stay grounded in the purpose, right? So if you focus on examining your solution, is it going to create a lasting value, resonate with people's life, and make the world a better place? So this question also brings clarity and resilience, because when challenges inevitably arises, which is just part of every single entrepreneur's life, having a deep commitment to that problem that matters to you, that drives you forward, regardless of the situation, is very critical. So for me, the answer to this question is like, literally kept Aidar Health focus on transforming how we are managing chronic condition for like almost 7-8 years. So that's the most important thing, I feel.
So I heard this quote somewhere that fall in love with the problem, not your product.
Yeah.
So it's the idea of focusing on, don't fall in love with your product and think how wonderful it is because of those features or whatever. It's unique design, but is it solving the problem, and is it really serving its purpose? I love that. That's great. we'll probably use this as the title of the episode. So any famous last words before we wrap up?
No, I think for me, this it was nice to actually see that journey. Like even for you, like to personally see our journey coming from a pre-FDA cleared device, a company with no product market fit, like a couple of years ago, to actually now having a product that is FDA cleared, having an entire ecosystem, the device, technology, integration, and the people behind it, and a clear product market fit. So I feel like really excited about sharing this today with you. And it was also nice to really focus on the business strategy, right? So we're not just talking about our company, but also giving examples of how these strategies can work. So thanks for giving me this opportunity. It was phenomenal to reconnect with you.
That's awesome. So Sathya Elumalai, the founder and CEO of Aidar Health, the creator of MouthLab. Thanks for coming on the show and sharing your framework for finding the niche and exploiting a niche in the market. And if those of you listening enjoyed this episode, stay tuned. Every Monday and Friday, we publish new episodes. And please give us a review on Apple Podcasts and follow us on YouTube. Thanks for coming, Satya, and thanks for listening.